Good morning, everybody. As you can see, I have a hoodie on. It's that time of year where it's 39 in the morning and 80 in the afternoon. But what we're doing today is I have the belt that I bought for this mower. I put the belt on and it came to like right here. It didn't quite make it back to the pulley. So we're gonna zip over there and grab another belt, maybe two more, because I'm not good at measuring these belts. I'll be the first to admit. But we're gonna grab a belt and see if we can get a belt on this thing, and then we can get started on the wiring, and then we can fool with the lights and all that stuff. We're gonna try to do things in order of how important they are, or crucial they are to this thing just running and driving. I made it to the Lowe's and went and got the belt I needed. Put it on. I'll show you guys real quick what I had to do. So the belt is on, as you can see. I had a bit of a problem with the clutch. So the clutch right there, this is the clutch pulley right here. It wasn't pulling back far enough to get the belt tight enough. I relocated the spring here. Here's the spring. It was in this hole, so I moved it over, which is a little bit further up, which pulls a little bit harder on it. So I went ahead and did that. Hopefully that'll put enough tension on that belt that we won't have any slipping issues. Only time will tell. But at the moment, I'm going to put this push button starter in. I didn't want to go this route. The reason I'm doing this is because the ignition switch that was out here, it got rained on, and I guess it just ruined it. It is what it is. But I'm trying to not spend money, and I had this thing chilling in the shop. So this thing says it's good for 15 amps. So, I mean, the starter solenoid should never draw 15 amps. So we got bigger problems if that's the case. Anyway, we're gonna do that. It almost fits in this hole here where the ignition switch used to be, but that little flat piece at the bottom is preventing it. So I got me a step bit here. I've heard people call these unibits, but either way, this can drill various different sizes. Just the further it goes in, the bigger it gets. So I'm gonna drill that out a little bit. We're gonna put this push button starter button right there. So I am going to retain this guy right here. This is the factory light switch. We're gonna just wire that straight up so that it works even if the key's off, because I wanna be able to use my lights in situations when the key's not on. Anyway, we're gonna make sure it has power. It goes here in that original hole. So I'm just gonna wire it up. We'll put some spade connectors on it. I did check continuity. It is still a good switch. And then I still got to do the battery tray, which I'll show you guys just real quick. I don't want to talk you to death. This battery tray is going to hang out under the back seat, factory location. This tray, it's too high, so when the seat is down, it actually hits the terminals. So what we're going to do is we're going to use these spacers, and I'm going to drill into this. We're going to put 1024 riv nuts in there. The spacers will sit on top. And then we've got these stainless socket cap bolts that will hold this on the underside of this hole here, and that'll space it down far enough so that these terminals on the battery don't hit the seat when the seat goes down. So anyway, done talking, let's do stuff. Okay guys, I'm actually very surprised with how well that worked. So I got the spacers down in here underneath, the rib nuts are down in this, and then all these bolts are tight. Now if you look down in here, it's just barely crooked, but when the seat's down, you're never gonna see it. I'm not that worried about it. So the battery is not the full size of this anyway. It will sit down in here and have some wiggle room. So we might end up building some kind of hold down at some point, but for now, I think we'll be just fine. We might just throw a bungee cord or ratchet strap or something small over it, but this works out great. So we got our terminals. Yeah, this is gonna work. I'm excited. All right, guys, I already started on this headlight. I know it's kind of janky, but it'll have this cover on it, so you won't even really know it's in there. You can't even tell. I am gonna clean this up because it's pretty dirty from the plastic on the inside, but we're gonna cut and put the other one in. We're gonna have two of these. They're gonna be side by side, and I just kind of hacked it to make it fit. You can see where the factory bulbs used to go. I've already drilled one hole here. What I'm doing now is I'm installing these little, some people call them chicken lights, marker lights. We're just gonna do 3 of them right across the front here. So I've got to do a little more wiring, and then I got to remove this to get to the wiring. All the wiring's up in here on the back of this panel. So we'll move this and go ahead and just kind of set it over here out of the way and get that wiring buttoned up. And I think that's the last bit of this panel. And then I have to wire up the lights on the front. Okie dokie, we got the other wire ran across here, and then when I flip the switch on, the voltage gauge comes on, shows me my voltage. See my hack job I did? Hope you guys really appreciate that. Worked hard on it. I'm gonna go ahead and hook these wires up to the light. Okay guys, we got the switch wired up to the voltage gauge and to the lights. I'm gonna make you guys wait a minute on the lights. I wanna let you guys know, so you're up to speed. We're about to start mounting all of these underglow lights to the underside of the mower, so we have underglow instead of overglow, I guess. I don't know, don't overthink it. All right, it is yet another day. There's a jet flying over, so it's kind of noisy. But as you can see, I have the grinder, and I've decided, since this thing's never going to mow again, it's never gonna be like an actual mower, we're gonna go ahead and cut these off. These brackets were basically just for the little rod to go into to hold the mower deck, and we don't need that anymore. So it is welded on, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it right there at that line. All right, we got those off of there. They're on the ground over here, and it looks a lot better. There's definitely more clearance in the front. Obviously the muffler is lower. I mean, it's not lower than it was, but it's lower than the rest of the mower is. I do have to see what the deal is with this front beam, because it wiggles like a lot more than it should. So I have to see if maybe I can shim that, because it makes for a very sketchy ride. Let's go ahead and figure out that beam. Maybe I can tighten that nut a little bit and clamp it a little bit tighter, and then we'll take this thing for a ride. Okay guys, hopefully this isn't something I have to do very often, but this nut up in here that hold that goes through the beam, and obviously that pivots on that beam there. That was super loose. Also, this bolt was loose, so I had to tighten it. My pulley was about to fall off, so that was kind of cool. But if you look now, this beam doesn't move anymore. So it might make this thing a little more pleasurable to drive. I am going to shoot some grease in these because no one ever greases these ever. So I'm going to grease those real quick, and then I'm going to get my chest mount for my camera on, and we're going to go ride this thing down the road and see how it does. Hopefully it doesn't try to kill me. Guys, thank you for all the subscribing. Stop doing that. Thank you for subscribing and coming back. You guys just keep coming back, so y'all are amazing. The mower, it runs pretty good. The motor sounds healthy. It drives good now that beam's not loose. It drives really well. The problem we're having now is the throttle's kind of sticky, and that's got a lot to do with that weird pedal setup that I got. So I'll probably end up redesigning that. I really don't like the way it's working. It pulls the throttle fine, but it doesn't return fine. So might have to put a spring on it. We'll figure something out. But anyway, the mower runs and drives as you guys saw, and it's gonna keep going from here. So I want to get the front beam lowered to where it sits higher, and then we'll get some bigger tires for the front, for the back. What is wrong with me? Get some bigger tires for the rear, and then this thing should be a ripper. I got a few other little things that I want to add to it, but all in all, it's pretty solid. I have to notch the little shifter hole down there because I can only get to fifth gear, and it's a 6-speed trans. So I'm gonna have to do that, and then I want to add a whip, like a lighted whip to the rear, maybe 2, I don't know. I'll probably build my own, so maybe I'll do a short little segment on that. But you guys keep subscribing, keep coming back. We're gonna go rip this thing through some trails. I got some friends that go trail riding pretty much every weekend when the weather's nice, and they all have dirt bikes and 4-wheelers and side-by-sides and all that stuff, and I want to take the old mower out and see how it stacks up. So the turf tires are not going to get the job done. We're going to have to go with some beefier tires. But yeah, y'all keep subscribing, man. We're getting closer. I think we're like 1,170 subscribers or something, so we're like almost to 1,200. It just keeps going and going. We might end up putting a winch on this. Just a few odds and end things. I'm sure I'll find something goofy that it doesn't need to add to it, but man, you guys are amazing. Like, share, subscribe. You know, what's up? Bye.